Living in Justin Trudeau's Canada, it's a never-ending hallucinogenic, surreal dream.
Today, we're diving headfirst into a fiery critique by none other than Jordan Peterson, who doesn't hold back when it comes to slamming Justin Trudeau and his governance in Canada. Peterson paints a vivid picture of Trudeau's mode of governance, and it's not pretty. He says that Trudeau's strategy seems to be topping each scandal with an even bigger one. It's like a scandal carousel that never stops spinning.
Justin Trudeau's mode of governance is to top each scandal with a bigger scandal. And he's really good at that. So it's like literally virtually for the entire course of his governance, there's just been one scandal after another. And what happens is the newest one obliterates the previous ones in the imaginations of Canadians.
In just the last 2 weeks, Trudeau managed to ruffle some serious feathers. He went to the G20 and ended up alienating the Prime Minister of India. That's not all. He started a trade war with India, leaving the Indian government irritated enough to stop giving visas to Canadians.
In the last 2 weeks alone, he managed to go to the G20 to alienate the Prime Minister of India, to start a trade war with India, to make the Indian government so irritated they decided not to give visas to Canadians anymore. And he did that to maintain his idiot coalition with the narcissist in Canada, Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the Socialists, who is just as bad as Trudeau and lacks his intelligence, which is a really pretty dismal insult, let me tell you. And then he called a whole sequence of protesters across Canada who are parents, led mostly by Muslims who are quite traditionalist. He called them misogynists and bigots, just like he did the trucker convoy. And then he he set up the circumstance so that while Zelensky was there was a literal Nazi, SS Nazi yet, so like the best kind of Nazi, let's say, addressing the Canadian House of Parliament. And then when he apologized, because he eventually did, he really didn't take any responsibility, and he offered his own speaker as a sacrificial lamb. It's like, and that was just last week. And you might say, well, what's wrong with Canadians? And I can tell you what's wrong with Canadians is that Canadians have a very difficult choice to make. They can either wake up and realize that under the jurisdiction of this preposterous narcissist, we've compromised virtually every institution of integrity in Canada, which is a really bitter pill to swallow, or we can assume that everyone who's pointing that out is some sort of conspiracy theorist. And it's way easier for Canadians to swallow the latter story than to actually contend with the true ramifications of the former story. Now, unfortunately, the former story is true. So that's okay.
But what is extraordinary? What's
Trudeau
extraordinary
isn't going to last
about
long.